Boom, 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 guys. We're live. We're live. Mr. Shoop. Guys, we're live. Today we're about to go. We're about to talk all things Airbnbs, guys. If you have a deal, make sure you go on my YouTube channel and you drop. Let me see. I'm gonna put the link at some point. So if anybody has an actual deal that you want us to help you underwrite or you have any questions, we can bring you on the screen and let's talk about it. I'm about to bring my guy HUNG MAI on here. Still Mr. Hung. Shub, what's up, bro? Let's see. Friend. So guys, today we're gonna talk about all things Airbnb. We get so many DMs from people about short-term rentals. How do you underwrite it? How do you find the money, the right locations? What is a deal? So many questions, like holy moly. So we decided every single Monday at 6 p.m 6:30 p.m EST, we're gonna go live. We're gonna bring on people that actually have questions or deal that they need help underwriting, and we will help them do so. So we'll underwrite it, tell you if it's a deal, if it's not a deal. If you have funding questions, we'll tell you how we're able to go out here and get funding for these deals, whether it be creative or cash. Let's see, Mr. Hung is here. Boom, boom, bro.
What's going on?
We are live. I was telling the audience what we're about to do for every single Monday at 6:30 p.m. EST. Bro, how many DMs you get a day with short-term questions or text messages? Or the reason I'm asking that is because it's funny, right? We put out there, we're gonna go live, bring your deals, bring your questions. I guarantee you, for the first 2-3 lives, people will show up, and right after the live, they will start DMing you, saying, "Hey, I need help." Right? It's crazy, but it is what it is. So if nobody shows up with an actual deal, we can go ahead and underwrite for them. What we're gonna do, we can pull up a deal that we're doing or a deal we already look at and walk people through the process on how you look at a deal, what a deal look like, or even better, what a not a deal look like.
Yeah.
It's even better. All right. Bro, that would be dope, man. That would be dope. Let's get some Airbnbs right outside of Atlanta and do that. Yeah, Hung. How many DMs you get? How many DMs you get a day about short-term rentals?
Um, I don't know about a day, but a week I would probably get anywhere between like 5 to 10 DMs about like Airbnb, people sending me deals and stuff like that. And I honestly like it's been amazing like to see where I've been and where I am now. And people, it's so cool that I get to be able to add value to people and all that stuff. But
Right.
I don't think people realize like I'm still new to this thing, called real estate investing. I only
Right.
started it since like March of last year. So
Right.
I'm still
Right.
getting my footings. Don't think that oh, like I know everything. I don't, guys. Like if I make it look like it, just give me some props that I make it look easy. But
Right. Right.
but no, it's I'm still kind of going through it and building my business as well, along with everyone. So don't feel like it's too out there, because it's not.
Yeah, I mean the reality is most people are the same way. You know what I'm saying? Like most people are the exact same way. So you will never stop like learning and having it all figured out.
Mm-hmm.
You will always be at a stage where you're learning something new, you're running into new problems you don't know how to solve, you're doing new strategies that is expanding your brain. Like literally today, I was listening to Grant Cardone today. He was saying how he's still learning things today, even though he owns what 5.5 billion in real estate. The
Crazy.
dude's still learning, so it never stopped. Pace more be the same thing. So whether you're new or not, the thing is you're already one step ahead from most people. That's the thing, right? It's like how can I then help somebody else, take one step further and be where I'm at? It's always about being in the next chapter
Right.
than the next guy. So and yes, you do make it look easy, bro. You do make it look easy for
Thank
sure.
you.
I'm telling you. So you're let people know where you're local too, because we're gonna have people in the YouTube channel that maybe don't know you. Like, introduce yourself a little bit, what market you're in, and what market you're interested in people hitting you up about Airbnbs.
Yeah, for sure. What's going on, everyone? My name is Hung Mai, and I am originally from Vietnam. Came over in '02 with my family, and I am currently living in Orlando, Florida. Right now, we are in, I want to say 8 markets. It includes Florida, Arizona, Texas, Maryland, right? Maryland,
Yes, yes, sir.
Virginia, and Louisiana. Um, so that's where I'm at right now. We're always looking for properties. Definitely, I would probably say like in transitional places that are a little bit more insulated from like maybe recession as well. So anywhere in like the Panhandle, for example, in Florida, or in the mountains like in Tennessee. Love those markets. Those are kind of mature. Uh,
Tennessee,
what's that?
Tennessee, you said?
Yeah, Tennessee. Yeah,
Oh,
Tennessee.
for
Yeah, Tennessee. Like Gatlinburg,
real? Mm-hmm.
Pigeon Fort, that sort of things, like cabins up there, like though in those markets where even if people, let's say like tomorrow the recession happens and
Mm-hmm.
people, you know, the first thing that they usually cut is leisure, right? Like for
Right,
flight
right,
like
right,
that. However, that people are still willing to drive to a location, right?
right.
So from Texas they can go to Tennessee. From Texas they can still go to Pensacola, right? All of those things. And so
Uh,
those markets in those areas, even though it's short-term rental,
mhm.
but if, for instance, reverse that, if you're in Orlando, for instance, 9 times out of 10 you got to fly to Orlando. Like you're like there's no way you're driving to Orlando.
Yes,
Just from the
absolutely.
panhandle, to Orlando is 7-8 hours drive, you
Got
know.
got.
So stuff like that is something to think about when we look into markets and stuff like that as well. But yeah, I mean, we're buying all over. We have systems in place that are able to manage it remotely. I mean, even this property here that I'm in right now, that's is where we hosted like Pace and Jerry Norton at
Mhm.
our events. I don't even see it like most weeks. Like I don't even go and visit it. Most of the time, my cleaners are there,
Mhm.
and anything that I need, basically, I make sure that the margins are big enough and that are healthy enough to where if things need to be done, that we can just pay someone 25, $50
Yeah.
to go and do it for us. Because
Right.
just doing stuff like that, like to go to the property and do X, Y, and Z, it's going to cost you, 2 hours a day just to do like the little miscellaneous stuff. So you don't want to
Right.
do that.
Right.
So
Right.
we make sure that we go into properties that are healthy, that has like a healthy margins, and that
Right.
we're not, going for scraps.
And that's how you become a business owner too, right? Is it's if you're just out here doing everything by yourself, guess what? You can't, not only you can't even get time to call more sellers and buy more deals so you can scale, because you're too busy managing, you're too busy cleaning, like you don't even want to do that. You want to outsource. And yes, if you don't have hefty margins, then you can't really afford all those services. That only
Exactly.
makes sense. Bro, you're already dropping bombs on them. We haven't even started yet.
How
Yet.
many people is in here, by the way? I don't know.
So we have about I think on YouTube we have about three that is probably watching. I don't know about Facebook. I don't have it in front of me. But guys, again, if you have a question, if you have a deal that you need underwriting, you have an actual question, just drop it in the comments and I will literally send you the link to come on here on the screen, ask your question, or we'll look at your deal and let you know if it's a deal or not a deal. But just in case, because this is the first day, Hung, we're gonna go into do's and don'ts when it comes to short-term rentals, just to, so people can learn as we go. So trust me, we're gonna do this live like probably like 3 times before people start showing up.
Mm-hmm.
And they will still DM you right after saying, "Hey, I have a question." Well, we have a live where we're just adding value to you for free. But people will show up, so let's not even worry about it for now. So right now, let's do this. Let's start with if let's say somebody want to start right now, right? And they want to get into, because I think a lot of people get trapped with the word Airbnb. They get sucked into this bubble, into this like a box. What I'm learning is when you think in Airbnb, don't just think Airbnb. The business is not Airbnb. Airbnb is just a platform. The business itself is short-term rentals. Is you can do multiple things outside of just putting your property on Airbnb. There is multiple other platforms where you can generate greater cash flow than just on regular rentals. Outside of just Airbnb. Airbnb is just a platform. That's not the business,
Right.
right? Can you talk a little bit about that? Like, what other platforms that you look into? Let's say you have an Airbnb not doing maybe well, or that like, what are some of the other strategies that you look at in case Airbnb is like, Airbnb slows down? Maybe I can pivot to this. Like, can you speak a little bit on that?
Yeah, for sure. So first and foremost, I started in this space kind of by accident. Just a little bit about my story.
It's a good accident.
Managing, yeah, I was managing properties for like my long-term rental properties for my parents when I first got started. And I was living at an apartment with 2 roommates, just trying to figure things out, right?
Right.
And there was this one property that wasn't renting out well for my parents. It was like 2.5 months. So it was basically starting to bleed, right?
Mhm.
So I reached out to a good buddy of mine.
Mhm.
I met at a Tony Robbins event 2 years prior, and I haven't talked to him since, right?
Whoa.
So I said, hey, I remember you talked about like doing, short-term rental. So I wanted to reach out to you and see, how you've been doing, what's going on. He's like, yeah, I've been doing it. I have Airbnb. So he said, yeah, I'll go there and I'll help you set up. A little shady because he's like, yeah, I'll come there and I'll help you set it up. I say that because he lives 2.5 hours away,
Uh-huh.
right? It's not like he's next door. He's like, oh, yeah, I'll come over and I'll help you out. No, he lives 2.5 hours away. So
Right.
in my mind, he's like, okay, he wants some of this. But I'm like, I don't care. As long as my parents make, is keeping, doesn't have to keep bleeding, then I'm okay
Right.
with it. Whatever's left is like cherry on top. I'm okay
Right.
with it.
Right. Right.
So he gets there. He's like, yeah, this thing is going to do well. And we're going to need $10,000 to furnish the whole property. The main thing with most people's fear when they first get started is like, what happens if I put in all of this money into this property and it
Right.
doesn't get booked? It
Right.
doesn't, you
100%.
know, it
Yeah.
doesn't get marketed. Like, how do I get people? How do people find me? How
100%.
does the SEO work? What all that good stuff, right?
100%.
Normal thing to feel. And he's like, don't worry about it. This thing is going to do well. And of course, like any normal person, I said, hell no. I said, hell no, I'm not putting 10 grand in there. I didn't have the money at the time. I was like broke. I mean, was broke. And, but luckily my 2 roommates that was living in the apartment with me, he forgot to write a letter of discontinued for the lease that we're at for the apartment. So you had to send in a letter saying that, hey, I'm not renewing, and
Right.
this is my 2 months notice. But we
Right.
never wrote that. And so we had to stay another 2 months. And so they're like, yeah, we're gonna be out of here. We'll still pay rent, but we're gonna be out of here. They had plans to move in with their significant.
Oh shoot.
One guy had a girlfriend that he met in the pandemic. Great people. They have a kid now. Amazing. The
Nice.
other one moved to Tampa. His girlfriend was going into law school. And so I'm like, why don't I try it here? Right? Like, if it works out here, I can live here and I don't have to move back home with my parents. So I said, okay, let me try this. I put in $1,000 for
Mm-hmm.
like plenty of stuff. I said, guys, leave your furniture here. If it
Mm-hmm.
all works out, I'll
Mm-hmm.
buy the furnitures off of you. If
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't work out, worst case scenario, you come back and you get your stuff just like you were supposed to, anyways, right? So, long story short, we put it up, and within I think like 4 days, we
Mm-hmm.
got 6 weeks of bookings for 2 shared rooms and bathroom.
And you only spent 1,000 to get that one
Yeah, I
going.
spent 1,000 because they already had their furniture and our furniture
That's
and their,
crazy.
their beds and stuff in there already. So it was just cleaning up and making it look nicer. So 6 weeks of bookings came in. That
Mm-hmm.
equals out to about 4 or 5 grand.
Mm-hmm.
My rent total was 2,100. I'm like, whoa, like there's something.
Whoa.
I'm like, whoa, there's something here. So it gave me kind of like this excitement. It's like, oh, okay, there's something here, right? It's funny because I never got to see any of that money because the following Monday, the
Mm-hmm.
apartment manager called
Mm-hmm.
me. I knew
Mm-hmm.
her. Her name was Stephanie. She's like, "Hey, Hung, I saw this listing on Airbnb, and is it you? All that good stuff." And I was like, "Yeah, what's wrong?" Well, she's like, "What's wrong is you're going against your lease policy that you can't
Oh,
at this apartment." My
yes.
thing is always, I'll do it and then ask for forgiveness later, right? Like,
Yeah,
how do you
yeah.
ask for a bike, right?
Yeah.
You can go and ask your parents, or you can steal it and then to go to confession, right?
Which can financially hurt you.
Yeah. So that's always been my thing, to kind of like take action. So, I had to shut that down, but
Mhm.
now I got the proof of concept I needed to go back to that house, and I was like, okay, let's drop 10K on this thing. So I basically I dropped the money to furnish the whole property,
Mhm.
and back then there was like no underwriting for me. It was like literally all he told me was, yeah, this thing is gonna do well.
So
So
so on the apartment, the landlord took all the money you made because you breached your
no,
kind
they
of
didn't
breach.
took it. I had to cancel that reservation. I had to cancel the
Oh,
reservation.
you're right. She didn't want you. Okay, got it. So she
Right,
made you
right,
cancel,
right.
even though the reservations were there. She made you cancel those reservations.
I had to. Yeah. So they told me at first. I don't tell this very often because
Uh-huh.
it's like a long-winded story.
Right.
But what happened was they told me to shut it down. So I did technically shut down the listing, but I
I got
still
it.
had the reservation. So I was like, well, why don't I just let them go through, right? And then once
Right.
I go through, then I'll shut it down. What
Right.
happens was I did all the instructions. I highlighted the map where they park, all the shebang. And I said,
Uh,
whatever you do not go into the management office. You will not get your check-in information there. And what do they do when they first arrive?
They go to the because
They went there. I still
people don't read instruction.
no, they don't. It's like when
People,
people book your property, I feel like they lose brain cells
yeah,
when they book and they go on vacation. So
yeah.
it is what it is. It was a great learning experience, but
That's crazy, bro.
yeah. So
That's
so
crazy.
so I
So,
still
so
kept it.
for those, just to clarify for people, because this might fly over somebody new. For those of you that don't know what he did here, what he did is called what Airbnb arbitrage, right?
Yes,
Essentially.
yes.
So
I
you're
didn't know
living
it at
in
the time either.
right. You're living in that's the thing you didn't know. And here's the thing. Here's also something really really important that I pick up here is the mindset. Because a lot of people in your situation where your roommates goes, I'm moving out, even though they're gonna pay the rent, they get in a panic mode. What happened after those 2 months? What do I do? Now I'm left with a 2 bedrooms. I cannot, instead of thinking, okay, maybe there is an opportunity here. And luckily for you, and this goes back to investing in yourself. You went to a Tony Robbins event a year, or you said 2 year or 1 year?
Yeah, like 2 years
two
prior.
years prior, and you met somebody that literally, I would say this is God, like brought that person back into your life at the right timing and planted as an idea in your head, and you took that idea and you ran with it. So you turned a problem into something beneficial for you.
Yeah.
So would you say for somebody that is getting into Airbnb, that want to get into short-term rentals but don't have, you know, the money, right? Let's say somebody has maybe up to 5 grand or even zero, but they can go ahead and find $5,000. Would you say the easiest probably entry level to Airbnb would be Airbnb arbitrage, to where you go find, you rent somebody's property? Now there is a right way to do it. I think you're gonna have, you need to have like a corporate leasing stuff going on, right? It's not.
Yeah. So you're gonna have to set up an LLC so that
Mhm.
you're a real business when you're talking to these, either landlords or property owners, right? Because there's different ways. There's one is, most of us know it, it's owning the property outright, buying the
Right,
property and then renting it on Airbnb.
right.
Two is what I started with. I didn't know what the name was. It was rental arbitrage. It's basically, is Mamadou is the landlord, and I go and I rent his property,
Mhm.
and then I go in ahead and I say, hey, this is what I'm gonna do with the property. That I'm doing it for corporate leasing, and we're doing it from anywhere between 2 to 120 days, right?
So you disclose to the landlord that you're going to
Yeah,
do
I've
Airbnb.
learned my lesson, guys. So take that. Do not do it without letting the landlord know. You can, but it's not worth it
It's
because of
not
all
worth it. It's
that
not
you
worth
invested into it. You want to be transparent, and you want
it.
to
Right.
let them know what's going on and what you're doing, because what you're doing is you're actually providing a value to the property owner. You're
Right.
literally
100%.
a property management company that's going in and managing their property without them paying anything. I literally had one owner said, really? Like, you're gonna take care of the property, and I'm not gonna hear from you? Like, anything below $300, I'm not gonna hear about it? Like, you're gonna take it? Like, it sounds too good to be true. Like,
Boom.
what's the catch?
What's the
I'm like,
catch?
no catch. Like, there's no catch, because this is our business model and this is how we do it. And there's tons and tons of other landlords that have allowed us to do this already.
Right.
And
Right.
and it's just, once you see that you are an asset, it's
Right.
now you are the one qualifying them if they
Yeah.
are
If they are a good landlord. Right.
right. It's not us trying to go and beg for them. It's
Right.
it's us, allowing them to be part of our business, right?
Right. Right.
Um, because they've had a lot of bad tenants. They have a lot of other things that has happened to them that that has scarred them. So that's
Mhm.
one. The second way of getting started is arbitrage, right? You rent a property and then you go and you furnish it.
Right.
The third way is what's called co-hosting. It's basically a fancy word for managing, right? So you have, let's say, a property owner like Mamadou, who
Mhm.
already has a performing property.
Mhm.
However, they're not getting it to the maximum capacity that it could do. So what you could do is come in and say, hey, like, this is what we specialize in, and we'd like to give you a free trial of 2 weeks. And by the end of 2 weeks, if you love it, then we can talk about setting something up. But if you don't like it, we both leave our separate ways, and nothing happens. And for that, in that model, you basically become a property manager of that short-term rental. And a lot of times it's anywhere between 15% all the way to 30%, of the top line revenue.
So wow. Hold on. So you call that co-hosting?
It's called co-hosting. Yes.
Co-hosting. So let's say, which I own. So I own an Airbnb. I have it on the Airbnb platform, but it's not performing the way it should, based on maybe how I designed it. The management, whatever. Right? There's a lot of people nowadays, because the market is good as far as short-term rentals is concerned. They just put carpet and paint and put it on Airbnb because everybody and their cousin want to be, Airbnb owner. So
Mm-hmm.
let's say hypothetically, I'm bringing 4K. You hung me. You go and look at the listing, and you look at it and you go, well, this person should be doing 6K,
Right.
and they're doing 4K because of this, because of this. So you call me and go, Mama, do your property should be earning more than what it is right now, and I can get it there. Is that how you get in the door?
Right. Exactly. It's and also it's providing value, right? Basically going in and letting those homeowner or landlord or operators know that, hey, we are a an asset, or could be an asset to your
Right,
business. And
right,
if you allow us the next 2 weeks or 4 weeks, whatever it is that most people decide to go in and try us out free of charge, no strings attached, that's providing a value to where if you do well within that 2 weeks or in that 4 weeks, by the end of it, it's kind of like the law of reciprocity.
Reciprocity, yeah.
Right? Is that you've done so much for them. You give some, it's kind of like when someone does you a favor, you feel enticed that you have to do something in return for them.
100%.
And so it's one way to kind of get in the door if you have literally zero money. Like it takes no money because it's already a performing property and you're just stepping in to become a manager for them.
That is crazy, guys. That means the person already spent the money for you, renovated the property, they own the property, is already on Airbnb, is furnished. All you have to do is to come in, be of value, and bring something a little bit extra. Now, it's not at a zero cost because you have to have the value.
Yes.
Most people don't know how to bring value to people. You gotta have the skills to be able to come in. One, you have to be able to identify why is that property not performing. You need to be able to identify that, right? And most people don't even know, what a right Airbnb should look like, how to underwrite it, how to go and see where the hole is, like why isn't it performing the way you should. So you do need the skills to know what you're kind of looking at and see if there is an opportunity or not. And you need the skills to take that property from 4K to 6K, right, Hung? So what are the skills that you actually need to have to be able to do that?
Say that last part one more time.
What are the skills you need to have to be able to do that? Because you don't just, like, that's not something like, for example, for me, I know how to go find the properties. I know how to talk to the seller. I know how to negotiate the terms. I know how to go raise the private money. But if you put me on Airbnb.com right now, I'm not going to be able to go ahead and start looking at properties and go, oh, this one should, because it's not what I focus on, right? Like, what skills do you need to actually be able to do that?
Yeah, I mean, it's first things first, I would say is that you have to have kind of like a passion, like a curiosity. Like you have to be interested in what it is that you're doing. So like for me, I come from a background of hospitality. So like I've worked in my family's business. They own a nail salon. And for the past, I don't know how many years, probably 9 to 10 years now, since I was a junior in high school. So like 9, 10 years now. And so I had to go and had conversation with these older age, female, and some of them don't really have a great time while they're there, right? And so I've always had a good nick to kind of like communicate with them and kind of talk them down a little bit. People are overheated and sometimes they overreact or they're not unhappy about a certain situation. So I've always been able to kind of like talk people and kind of connect with them. And when I saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. It connected with kind of like what I was trying to pursue, which was I love traveling.
Right.
So I wanted to own multiple vacation home or properties across the country and to make a lot of money. Right. Like it ties in with those things that I really wanted to do.
Right.
And I never knew how to do it. Like I was like, how do all these people own so many houses? And how do they pay for it? Like, do they only go there for like a month and then the rest of the year just like, kumbaya, right? Like how do you afford it? So when I saw this, it was like a no-brainer. But what I want to get back to is you have to have a really like obsession for curiosity to learn and stuff like that. It's kind of like when you first ride a bicycle, right? Like it's really fun to like mess up and learn. And once you kind of get going to where you can stay on for 3 seconds at a time, you get excited. And so that's really the first thing, is just to have that curiosity to kind of learn and be coachable. And then 2 is find a coach, find someone who's doing it that is where you want to be. So that way they can take your hand and they can pull you in the right direction. Like the person that I had learned from that was my partner for that first deal that I did. I thought he knew everything about short-term rental. But and I thought he had a ton of properties
Right.
after 2 years, right?
Mhm.
Well, I found out he only had one. He only had one.
You found out after 2 years.
Yeah, well, I didn't know once we started setting it up and asking all these questions, and then eventually it got into it. It's like, hey, how many have you have so far? He's like, oh, I got one right now, right? So to me, he sounded like he knew everything because I
Right.
didn't know anything, right?
Right.
And so a lot of times I think we get intimidated that we have to know everything to get started.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
don't, because my partner at the time only knew like one step more than me. It's like this corner of the room. He was just standing on the other corner. He's been around the corner before me. That's all it is, right? So that should take away like 99% of
Yeah.
your fear of to get started, is that to not having to know everything, and to find a coach, someone, or a mentor, or a partner,
Yeah.
someone, someone that can walk you in the right direction and just hold your hand while you're kind of going through it,
Hun-
because that will be 99, that would take care of 99% of your problems. It's trying to
100%.
figure it out yourself, which is what I didn't do at the beginning, because eventually, literally just, I think within 3 to 4 months in, I knew more than him, because
Yeah.
within my first like month to 2 months, while I was still working at my parents' salon, like
Mhm.
when I'm working there, I can't use my hands because I'm always doing pedicures or manicures and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So there's no way. I mean, he can attest to it. He yelled at me all the time. It's like, Hung, I need you for X, Y, and Z, right? When I was doing that, I couldn't do anything. So the only time that I could learn more about it was
Mhm.
that I had an AirPod and I had it on. I'm usually there for like 30, 40 hours a week,
Mhm.
from Friday to Sunday.
Mhm.
And so I would have it in my ear, and I would find these like gigantic 50 video playlists of Airbnb,
Oh wow.
YouTube, and I would play it from morning to when I got out
So
for,
you're obsessed
for like
with
the
it at this
like the
point.
whole month to 2 months. Like
Yeah.
that was literally all I listened to. I didn't listen to any music. That I
Yeah.
didn't listen to any movies or any, like, nothing. Like Tony Robbins, Move Out the Way. Like, that was all I
Yeah. This
listened
is called being obsessed with
I
something,
was I was
right?
really obsessed because
This is
I
yeah.
saw my way out. I saw
Yeah.
my way out with this, and
Yeah.
that's really it. It's like when you find something that like it clicks, you don't want that fire to go away, because that
Yeah.
fire can be so. It's like when you first start, it's like an ember. Like it's so fragile. Like you can, like, the baby is so fragile. You drop it, it's dead, right? So you have to protect it. And I wanted to protect it like anything. Like, wow.
Holy moly, bro.
So yeah.
That's called being obsessed. I mean, I think everybody that is successful in anything is that's that one thing that they find, and it just create a certain click in their head, and that's all they can think about at this point. I remember it's the same thing to me when I found out about this wholesaling thing. Is like I stopped listening to me. People underestimate how much you can learn while you're driving a long drive, not
Mm-hmm.
playing music, playing, podcasts when you're at the gym, same thing. Whatever you're interested in, doesn't matter what it is. So I used to like listen. Most of my like phone skills, bro, I learned it while I was driving for Lyft and doing real estate on the side as well while I was driving for Lyft. And so I would be listening to people like Max Maxwell, Pace Morbid. I would be listening to like live seller calls. And then on top of that, I'll be listening to podcasts just to learn the lingo. And
Mm-hmm.
I got obsessed when I'm at home. YouTube, that's all I watch. I don't watch anything else. And so
Mm-hmm.
I definitely see what you mean when and it changes your life, man. Once you find that one thing that this is where it's at, and you get obsessed with it. So that's the first step is getting that one thing. Second, being obsessed with it. Third is because a lot of people go, hey, if I knew, honestly, if I knew, bro, if I have to go back, I would have invested in a mentor way earlier. I didn't know. Like I was trying to be cheap on it. I was, oh, everybody's a scam, whatever. I would have done it way, way early. But if you don't have a penny, you're like, man, I cannot invest nothing on nobody. The sweat equity, there's no way around it, guys. You cannot not have money and be lazy. Those two things are like a disaster
They're
combination.
they
You know,
are allergic to each other.
bro, which most people, that's what they have, right? They don't have the money, that's one. But second, they don't want to put the sweat equity, which is completely free. YouTube is free, podcast is free, driving around is free, going to meetups in person, meet people, network is free. But even that, guess what? I really don't know. Today's Saturday, it's a little cloudy outside. I feel like just chilling on my couch and watching Netflix. All right. And then they complain they're working on 9 to 5s that they hate. Right. Anyway, guys, so guys, he just gave you, if you have zero money at all, and you want to get into short-term rentals, right? Let's go back to those three again, Hung. Zero money, or but you can go ahead and maybe go to family or whatever, get from 1K to 5K. What are the three you said you would start right out the gate?
Yeah, so like the three things that I would do to kind of get started right out the gate.
The three strategies you'll go after right out the gate with no money.
Oh,
Just
the,
give them the three. We already
the
spoke
three
about them. We just want to remind them.
yeah, so the three strategies is one is like I said is uh buying the property, which is not one of the viable strategies because you don't have money, right? The second thing is arbitrage. You go and you rent a property and you basically re-rent it on these other OTAs platform like Airbnb, Verbo,
Bro,
Booking.com. 5K is really short, but honestly, I think through some of these future live streams, what I'm gonna do is I'll probably break down on how you can get like business credits as well.
that yeah, we'll go over all of that. We have Mr. Marco that will come on here. We'll talk about,
Mm,
guys. We'll do this is going to be a recurring live every single Monday, 6:30 p.m. We're gonna go through all of it. Okay, we're gonna show you deals we have, deals we're doing, deals we done, private money, how to go get like Hung is saying, business credit, how to set up your corporations, how to set up your Airbnb, how do you call it, your Airbnb arbitrage, LLCs, and we'll go over every single little thing. The
yes.
main thing is, will you show up with your questions? Because we're not trying to do this live, guys, to just come here and ramble. We're trying to have people come on here with their problems, their questions, their deals, so we can help out. And we're gonna also have guests, bro. We're gonna have guests, people that have way more experience than we do, and bring some value to people here. So, guys, the three. I'm not even gonna say three. I'm gonna say two, because most people, the biggest problem they have is money. Most people, when they start, the biggest complaint is money. So if you have no money, you want to get into short-term rentals, guys, the best way to start first is obsession. Are you obsessed with it? Do you truly want to do this? If that's the case, you shouldn't be looking at anything else other than short-term rental opportunities, by the way.
Hmm.
That's what you should be looking at. Be so good at it that when somebody think about your name, they think about Airbnb short term, right? Like, you have to be known for it, right? That's number one. So number two, you go after these two strategies. One is Airbnb arbitrage. Like Hung said, this is where you go and you rent a property from somebody. Now you're gonna have to have your LLC set up the right way to go and rent as a business, right? You rent it and then you put it on Airbnb or whatever platform you want to put it, and release it to you know uh your guests on Airbnb, short, whatever. Okay,
Hmm.
that's Airbnb arbitrage. The second way that Hung dropped, this was a bomb. Like, even me, guys, I didn't know about this one. Is co-hosting. Co-hosting, like me, Mama do. I own Airbnbs. Hung on Airbnbs. Most of our friends do. You come to somebody like me. I already have an Airbnb up and running on the platform, and you go and you find out, Mamadou's Airbnb is doing 4K a month, but this Airbnb should truly be doing 6K a month. That means there's something that Mamadou is not doing. Either one, we're gonna go over it, Hung, before we call it a day here. Either one, I designed it the wrong way. Two, I'm too busy. I'm not good at managing Airbnbs. I just know the market is good, so I put carpet and paint and put it on, put it there, hoping I will catch fish, right? So there's something that I'm doing wrong that is making my property underperform. And co-hosting, you come in and you say, Mamadou, I can get your property from 4K to 6K a month. That's the value you bring into me. You bring in zero money. I already spend the money. I already have the property. It's already on the platform. All you're doing is coming in, bringing the ideas to the table and taking that property, and you telling me, hey, just try me. Just try me for 1 month, 2 months, see how it goes. If I can take your property from 4 to 6, then guess what? I'll be, you know what, Hung, you can keep managing the property. I'm good. I love the 6 more than the 4. Anybody would say that, right? That's called co-hosting, guys. I didn't even know about this. I just learned something, bro. I was like, I wish I had that effect here. Boom, boom, boom. Come on, Mr. Mark. Bro, we're gonna start. I'm gonna have something where we can literally drop like the bombs and see them. Just watch.
The effects. Well,
Yeah. So those are the key takeaways to me today. If you want to get in, you have no money, you don't want to raise the money, you have zero experience. Like, people always complain, I don't have the experience, I don't have this, oh, my mom didn't give me enough, pocket money. Like, stop, right? You're just lazy. You can sit down and learn this stuff for free, by the way. You don't have student debt on YouTube, guys. You don't have student debt listening to podcasts. You don't have student debt picking up a book. When you're working on your 9 to 5, the same way Hung was doing, bro, I was doing the same thing. When I was driving my Lyft and doing real estate before I've done like even my first deal, bro, I have my customers in the car in the backseat. You know how sometimes you have those that they don't want to talk to anybody? Bro, I have my AirPod here and I'm listening to my freaking real estate stuff. And I'm just driving. And by the time I'm done with the car, by the time I drove like 7, 8, 9 hours, I come back home, my head is full of knowledge.
yeah.
Because I'm not listening to music and talking about girls and this and that, guys. Even at the gym, I stopped listening to music for 2 years straight. I didn't listen to a single music, podcast, books, whatnot, because I got obsessed with this stuff. And so when you call me, you go, Mama Dura, how everybody know your name is because I got obsessed. How does everybody know Hung's name is because he got obsessed. And we network a lot, guys. So these are the 2 ways you can get into the Airbnb short-term rental space. Remember, it's not about Airbnb. Airbnb is just a platform. The business is called short-term rental, short-term business, right? It's like
Yeah. I mean, really, we're in the housing accommodations, right? Like, we are providing housing. Like, there is a lot of pros with what we're doing because, one, we're not asking people to give us a credit report. We're not asking people for their social security. We're not verifying, their background and all that stuff, right?
Right.
It's by us not doing that and providing a housing immediately, people are willing to pay more to come to these accommodations, to these locations, to your property, and paying a much bigger fine. I mean, trust me, I was surprised when I first put my first property onto Airbnb as well. We were not done with the property yet. Like, I put it up thinking that, okay, it's finished now, but it's not done. Let me just put it up and let me raise the price higher so that no one books it. And then guess what? They ended up booking it. I'm like, holy crap. It makes no sense.
It's crazy.
And so once it was just a proof of concept that once you get that first thing, even if it's like $1, it's just something in your brain that clicks. That's like, oh my God, this is real. And the thing with most people that they don't jump off the cliff and do this and dedicate the time and energy into it is because they don't believe in themselves. They don't believe that they can do it, and that everything else in the past that they've done so far has failed. So how is this different? Right. And so you have to be a little bit delusional to have always keep trying, because here's the thing: you can fail, 7, 8, 10, 100 times. You just need to be right once. Yeah. And everyone forgets everything else that you've ever done. Trust 100%. Me, my family don't talk shit about me anymore.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. You actually become one of the you actually become one of the preferred, sons and cousin and whatnot in the family because now you're an expert in something.
Conversations now. Oh, I always knew you could have done it.
Right. And also, guess what? You become the expert around your family in this space. Every time now they want to make a decision about a house, buy a house, invest their money, guess who they come to? They come to Mr. Hung.
Yeah.
Right. That's also the other thing. Like, is a lot of people stuck because they feel like they don't have support from the family. Guys, your family, you have to deserve their support. So, like, you gotta go out, be obsessed with it, prove the concept before anybody can listen to you. Because most people that try to get into entrepreneurship, the reality is before you find that one thing, you're a jack of all trades. You've made that name for yourself. You've earned it through your family. Like, everybody's seen you jumping from job to job, jumping from new venture to new venture. And so all these years, you've been known as somebody who always starts something new and don't finish it. And then now you find this one thing, you're like, nah, this right here, I'm focusing on it. And then you expect your family to just jump in the waters with you right out the gate. It's not gonna happen. The same thing happened to me. My family didn't believe it until I showed them the check. I was like, boom, here it is, right? And they were like, okay. But the first thing they told me is go prove the concept, right? And I had to check myself and be like, you know what? I don't deserve nobody to believe me until I prove that this thing is real, right? And so once I did it, guess what? My biggest supporters right now is my family. My brothers are my partners. One of them is the integrator on our team, and the other one is the one that handled the finances. So, but you got to go ahead and do the work. You got to be obsessed with this and put in the work. And most importantly, guys, I'm telling you, like, your network, build your network. Like, I'm telling you, cannot real estate. I don't know about any other business, but real estate, you cannot do it by yourself.
No, you
It's
cannot.
impossible. You will have to partner up. You have to build relationships. So, bro, this is, I think, for a first show, this one was really, really good. We dropped like basic knowledge, set the stage, how this gonna look like, guys. Moving forward, guys, we're gonna bring on here a lot of guests. We're gonna show you guys deals we're doing, and then we're gonna get into underwriting, what to look out for, what not to do. We're gonna bring here designers, Airbnb designers. We're gonna go over what your property should look like. And guess what? We have a lot of those services also in house, guys. You can DM us if you need those services. You can DM us. Go into Hong. Where is your IG?
It is Hung. Well, I can put it in things here.
Mr. Hong is so famous. He don't know his
It's
IG
it's
handle.
it's Hung VMAI.
Put it in the chat so I can put it on the screen for people.
That's a good question. I
you
don't see the chat. I don't know
don't
how.
you don't see the chat?
Yeah, you'll have to put it in for me apparently because
Okay, you said Hong what?
Hung HUNG
Mm-hmm.
E as in Victor, M as in Mary, A as in Apple, I as in Igloo.
Hong Mai. Okay. So guys, I'm putting his IG here. That's it, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So guys, connect with him on IG. Connect with me. My IG is right below as well at Real Estate Diallo. Link is in our bio if you want to hop on a call with us for consulting for whatever. Guys, again, like we said, it's every single Monday, 6:30 p.m. EST, all things short-term rental accommodation. I love that. I love that term actually. Accommodation, what do you call it?
Yeah, it's a housing where we are a housing accommodation, right?
Where
We provide a product
I
that
love
is
it.
a housing accommodation. So we are not Airbnb, even though that is the platform that we are on. We are
Right.
providing housing, right? And once you think that through like in that lens, now it's not just short-term rental. Now it's we're providing housing for relocation agencies where
Right.
we have families that are being displaced because a flood happened in their house, or like one of the property that we had, a family came to us because on 4th of July, their house caught on fire.
Oh my gosh.
I wonder how, right? I
Yeah.
wonder
Yeah.
how,
Mhm.
but those things happen. And then when they do happen, we are there to be able to provide them a short-term stay.
Right.
And they're willing to pay a lot of money for it because
Right.
they're
Right.
in a dire situation and they need it right now. And a lot of the time, their insurance are the one who pays for it.
Right.
So their insurance are willing to pay an astronomical number that is just out of this world. Like one of my property right now at this moment, we have a family that's been staying in there. They were supposed to stay there for a month.
Mhm.
A 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath.
Mm-hmm.
and their house got flooded, and so basically they needed a place for a month.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, they're staying at our property for uh, this 3 bedroom, 2.5 bath, 1,500 square feet, no backyard, no yard whatsoever, nothing, and they are paying 7,500 a month,
Holy moly, bro.
and they've been here for the last almost 5 months
That's because their property is currently being renovated, right?
because their property is currently being renovated.
That's 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 the perfect term for it. We're in the accommodation housing business. That's a
Exactly.
really, because you'll be surprised the type of people that would actually book from you, and for what reasons. People think when they think short-term rental, they're thinking, oh, vacation, they're thinking near the beach. That, like, this strategy, guys, works in areas you wouldn't even think of. That's the thing. That's why it's so important to learn how to underwrite, come this thing, how to look at the numbers. It's not just going on Air DNA and looking at the average income. That's not just it, right? So we're gonna go. So on the next show, guys, we're gonna go into deeper into underwriting, hung. We're gonna get one or two deals ready to go to show people this is what it looks like. This is how we came up with it. The do's and don'ts. All right, guys. Please, if you enjoy this show, share it, hit the like button, subscribe, share with some of your friends that you feel like they can benefit from this information the same way you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
right? And most importantly, perfection is the killer of all dreams. And perfect action, guys. Take imperfect action. Nobody cares if you don't know. Just start doing something.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to get into this space right now, go and look at, I don't know, look at listings, people that have properties listed as for rent, and it's been sitting there for maybe over 60 days or whatever. Call them and see if they're interested in letting you rent it, and you rent it on Airbnb or whatever, right? Like, just start doing something. Don't just sit there and be like, oh, I need to know how to comp, I need to know how to underwrite before I start doing this. Because I'm telling you, like, being a perfectionist is nothing but fear, procrastination. There's nothing good that comes out of it. Start and let progress follow. There's no such thing as perfection. People have been lying to you. So,
Yeah,
guys,
yeah, if you find this valuable, and I'm gonna say this real quick, Mamadou,
yeah,
and if you find this valuable, please take a picture of this live stream right now, and then go and tag me and Mamadou on there, and we will choose one person on our next live stream to underwrite their deal, and
oh, boom.
15-minute like consultation with myself, and even Mamadou, just to add value to whatever it is that you're doing right now.
Boom, 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 guys.
We will check it, and we'll pick the winner next time.
Boom, guys. So if you want to be the one that get picked for the next show to come on here, come with your deal, we underwrite it, talk about it. Make sure you take a picture and then tag us on your social media and share. Thank you, bro. That was a bar. That was a mic drop. This is the right way to get out.
Yes,
Guys,
free.
this was the Boom Bold Show, Airbnb, all things Airbnb. We'll see you guys next Monday. It's 6:30 p.m. EST. Put it in your calendar. I promise you we'll be consistent with this and we'll bring shit ton of value. You do not want to miss out. Guys, we're out. Peace.
Later.
Later.